Live from Washburn University in Topeka, Kansas, it's KSWU News.
Hi everyone and welcome to KSWU News. I'm Carly Willis.
And I'm Kara Protasio. Today on the show, one of the Navy SEALs who was in the operation to take out Osama bin Laden is currently under investigation. We'll give you more details later.
Also, teaching classes at a university, it can be tough to keep students' attention. We'll talk to a man who has taken it back to the medieval times to keep his students' attention.
But first, yesterday was election day. The midterms gave Republicans enough seats to take over the Senate. Now both houses of Congress are under the control of Republicans for the first time in 8 years. In Kansas, Senator Pat Roberts was re-elected over opponent Greg Orman. For the House, Tim Holmeskamp, Lynn Jenkins, Kevin Yoder, and Mike Pomeo all defeated their Democratic challengers. Governor Sam Brownback also remained the governor after winning the election over Paul Davis by almost 33,000 votes. This will be Brownback's second term as governor. A woman who chose to end her life after fighting terminal cancer has died. Brittany Maynor was 29 years old. Doctors diagnosed Maynor with brain cancer in last spring. They gave her 6 months to live, so she decided to die in her terms. Maynor and her family moved from California to Oregon to take part in the state's Death with Dignity Act. Terminal patients can die with the help of a doctor under the law. Maynor quickly became a public face of the Right to Die movement. According to a post on her website, Maynor passed away Saturday surrounded by close family and loved ones.
Philadelphia police released this video of a man appearing to grab a woman down the street and force her into a car in hopes of catching the kidnapper. Police say the victim is 22-year-old Carlisha Freeland Gaither. She was taken around 10 on Sunday night. Her family says she is a nurse and was taken only a few blocks from her home. Her ATM card was used in Aberdeen, Maryland early Tuesday. That's 75 miles away from where she was abducted. She is still missing. Officials are offering a $10,000 reward for information leading to an arrest and conviction in the case. Are you struggling to make ends meet while going to school? One organization at Washburn University is trying to help its students. Here's Fatima Obeid with more.
Bods Feeding Bods is an organization that started about a year ago when Kelsey Rose believed that students shouldn't have to choose between getting an education and feeding yourself. What started as an idea to help students on campus turned into Bods Feeding Bods.
Along the way, I met a lot of different people on campus who were interested in being involved in issues of hunger, and through the connections that I made with all those people, we kind of created Bods Feeding Bods, which is an umbrella organization for any issues of hunger or alleviating poverty or addressing the struggles that college students face.
Rose teamed up with Associate Professor Dr. Mike Russell, and the two spent the year doing background research, understanding Washburn's need, and making a proposal.
An education is hard enough, and I don't want anyone ever have to choose between getting an education and providing for themselves and for their family. And I just think that we should reward and support people who are engaging in their education, and I think Washburn is the perfect place to do that.
The food pantry is located in the lower level of Henderson, room 19, and is open Monday 3 to 6 p.m. and Thursday 9:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m.
So I just encourage you to use the resources that we have for you, access this food, and it's our goal to take off a little bit of the burden from you so that you can focus on your studies.
I'm Fatima Obeid reporting for KSWU News.
The grand opening for Bods Feeding Bods will be November 17th at 11 a.m. in Henderson. There will also be a hunger panel discussion at 6 that evening in Petro 220. That's the news for now. Let's go to Fatima Obeid with the weather.
Thank you, Kara. While the state of Maine experienced its first nor'easter this weekend, the storm had heavy rain, high winds, and eventually snow. Bangor, Maine got hit with double-digit snowfall. The National Weather Service says this is the first time the city has seen so much snow so early in November. Thousands of people were affected by the storms, with power outages, leaving many in the dark. Maine was still without power in several places during Tuesday's election, making it hard for people to vote. Generators and portable heaters were brought in, and many polling places had to change locations. Luckily, we aren't experiencing any snow here yet. The current weather conditions in the United States show that there is more rain and snow on the western side of the U.S. Washington and parts of Oregon are getting some nice rain, while Idaho and Montana up there are getting some snow. The rest of the West Coast is pretty dry right now thanks to the high pressure system heading its way. Parts of the Midwest are also dry with a few exceptions. The northern parts are seeing some rain and even a little bit of snow. As we make our way over to the southeast, there are some scattered rain showers throughout Mississippi and Alabama, and Florida over here is pretty dry right now except for Miami, which is currently getting rained on. In the New England part, there's some rain in Maine now that a warm front is turning the snow into rain. The current temperatures for the U.S., as you can see, the northern parts of the border of Canada up here have temperatures in the 40s and 30s. However, you can see all this green throughout the U.S., which means that most of the country has high temperatures in the 50s. Kansas and bits of Oklahoma, Missouri, and Nebraska still have temperatures in the 70s. But even Texas and other southern states that are usually in the 80s and 90s have temperatures diving into the 70s and 60s. And that's the weather for now. We'll go to Trevin Edelman with the sports.
Thank you, Fatima. WNBA star Brittany Griner was cut on the elbow with a knife attack on Monday in China. Griner didn't need to go to the hospital, however, as she was merely nicked by the blade. Griner and two of her teammates were walking from the practice arena to the team bus when a man appeared with a knife. The assailant began yelling and swinging the knife wildly. He then chased Griner and her two teammates onto the bus. The man stabbed at Griner and caught her on the elbow. Griner's agent said she was wearing a winter coat and that the knife barely cut her skin, and Griner did not require stitches. The agent said the man also stabbed at one of Griner's teammates, but she also was wearing a jacket and the knife didn't go through it. The man left the scene, then returned covered in blood and was apprehended by Chinese authorities. The China-based team said it will review its security protocol after this incident. And despite the incident, Griner said she still feels safe in China and she played a part in her team's win on the following day. And now to more baseball news, reinstated New York Yankees slugger Alex Rodriguez admitted to use of performance-enhancing drugs during a meeting with the DEA in January. Rodriguez told the DEA that he paid Biogenesis founder Anthony Bosch for testosterone cream, testosterone gummies, and HGH injections. According to a report, one such injection took place in the men's room of a Miami nightclub. Here, Rodriguez injected the HGH into his stomach. According to the report, Rodriguez was also trained in tricks to beat the league's mandated urine test. This marks the first time Rodriguez has admitted to using PEDs between late 2010 and 2012. Back in 2009, the Yankees third baseman admitted to using PEDs while with the Texas Rangers in 2001. This new admission defies A-Rod's multiple public statements of innocence during the Biogenesis scandal. Rodriguez, who had a 211-game suspension reduced to only 162 games, was reinstated to the Yankees' active roster on October 29th. He does not risk further punishment from Major League Baseball on this issue. Back to Carly and Kara with more news.
All right.
Thanks, Trevin.
Coming up is our special guest from the Washburn History Department.
Stay tuned.
On average, I spend 8 hours a week on the road. It's important to me to make the right choices when I drive. And she's the reason why I support MAD.
Please have a seat. I'll be honest. Your resume, not what I'm used to.
I know.
Okay, so what would you bring to my company?
What do you need?
I need a hard worker.
Good. I've got 2 part-time jobs and I help my parents pay the bills.
I need problem-solving skills.
I got through high school without a car, a phone, or a computer.
No college degree, though.
Not yet, but life's taught me a lot and I'm ready for more.
Well, you're not the typical kind of candidate that I hire. But you are exactly what I'm looking for.
Your company could be missing out on the candidates it needs most. Learn how to find, cultivate, and train a great pool of untapped talent at gradsoflife.org.
Every child follows a path in life. For many, that path will lead them to a door that gives them a place to grow, to learn, to belong, a place to forge their future. Because while many doors open, these doors transform. They did for us. Support your local Boys and Girls Clubs. Great futures start here.
Don't worry, 74 people were picked before me in the NFL draft.
To fight childhood obesity, United Way and the NFL are helping kids play more. To donate or volunteer, go to unitedway.org/play60.
Now I get it.
No more pencils, no more books.
No more teachers' dirty looks.
School's out for summer.
School's out forever. School's out with fever. School's out completely.
What this place needed was better graduation rates. So we worked with schools like Henry Ford High, and now they're up 18%. And it can happen in every place.
School's out for summer.
To help us do more good this year, go to unitedway.org, because great things happen when we live united.
Welcome back to KSWU News. Joining us today is Tony Silvestri. He's a lecturer for the History Department at Washburn University. Thank you for joining us.
My pleasure.
So you're dressed in a pretty unusual way today. You want to explain your attire?
Yes, my medieval history class called The Medieval Experience. I try to teach that class as accurately as I can, as if it were being offered in the 13th century, at a 13th century university. And one of the things that distinguished scholars then is that they wore black robes, clerical robes. And so I've insisted that all my students and myself, for all class activities, wear our proper graduation robes. This is a master's robe from Cambridge University that looks very much like they would have looked in the Middle Ages.
Okay. So you dress up every class period?
Every class period.
Okay, can you explain a little bit about your medieval class?
Yeah, it's sort of a mixture of lecture and debate, which is appropriate for a 13th century class in the scholastic style. It covers the basic history of medieval European civilization from the fall of the Roman Empire to the beginning of the Renaissance, but also with class debates on a whole variety of topics. So the students research and debate against each other. Sometimes I chime in as well, but it's mostly students against other students in the scholastic style, which was appropriate for university classrooms at that time.
Okay. What got you interested in medieval history?
Ever since I was a kid, I've been interested in medieval history. I watched Bedknobs and Broomsticks, a Disney film, when I was very little, and I was intrigued by the opening credit sequence. And then, of course, there's suits of armor that come to life and all of that. And I think it was 8 or 9 years old, and it hooked me. So I've been a medievalist ever since.
It's a good movie. I've seen it. So where did the idea for this class initially come from?
I was teaching high school in Los Angeles, and I read an article in the Chronicle of Higher Education outlining a class similar to this that was being taught at a university up in the north. And I thought, oh, that's an incredible idea, and so I copied the article and I kept it. For about a dozen years, I kept that article thinking, I'm going to do this one day, I'm going to do this. And I spoke to Dr. Prosh about it in the history department, and he gave me the go-ahead to try this at the college level. And so I adapted many of those ideas and added many of my own, including the codex, which is the book that all the students in the class have to use. This is chained to a desk in the library. And I created this book to look as accurately as I could make it look like a medieval book. It's paginated like a medieval book. It has illuminated capitals and illuminations, illustrations, and so on. The students write glosses and commentaries in the book. That and the debates and some role-playing and a little bit of drama are parts of the course that I added to it to make it, as I said, as accurate as possible, a recreation of a university class in the 13th century.
Gotcha. So you said this book is chained to...
Yes, it lives on a table in the library, and the students cannot check it out. All of their readings for the entire class are in this book, and they all have to share this one book. And so there are many times before exams where there may be 15 students crowded around the one book. They have to read it to each other or share it. So it creates a kind of cohort, a sort of camaraderie that's rare in some classes.
So is this the only class that you teach and you try these different methods of teaching in?
No, all of my 300 level classes, which is sort of a rotation: Egypt, Mesopotamia, Greece, Rome, the Middle Ages, the traditional Japan, and next fall I'm going to hopefully teach a class in the Golden Age of Pirates. All of those classes have a role-playing or experiential element in it. I haven't decided what to do with the pirate class yet. Maybe make students dance a hornpipe or walk the plank or something like that.
That would be
fun. But yeah, either role-playing games or creative projects, creative writing, something alternative to just me lecturing and them taking notes.
And do you think students find this a successful way of learning?
From what they say to me, it is very engaging. They remember it long after their college experience, and my classes fill in an instant. So obviously there's some demand for what I'm doing.
All right.
So I'll keep doing it that way.
Sounds good. Well, joining us right now is Tony Silvestri. He's the lecturer of history, and he's currently talking about one of his classes that he teaches at Washburn University. It's a medieval class time period. So what do you enjoy most about teaching?
I enjoy interacting with students the most. Being in the classroom, it's sort of a performance, almost like a vaudeville performer, and that part of the showmanship part of being a teacher is really fun for me. Engaging with young people keeps me young. I love learning about what students are interested in and how they're responding to the material and to me. The part I don't like about it is grading papers, but I think probably every teacher will say that.
Right, right. So in addition to teaching, what are some of your other accomplishments besides obviously your academic ones?
Well, my main extracurricular activity, as it were, is writing lyrics for choral composers. I am quite in demand all around the world from classical composers who are looking for a particular kind of text to set to choral music, and they can't find the poem that works right for them, and so they commission me to create a tailor-made text, a poem just for them that does everything that they need it to do so that they can then set it to music in the way that they had hoped for whatever commission they're working on. I've worked with about a dozen composers all over the world for the last maybe 12 years or so, and it's been quite a thrill.
And you have one coming up on November 10th, right? At Washburn?
Are they doing one of my pieces?
I think so. Let's see. Oh, the Dutch Broadcast Company
Oh,
Choir.
yes. There's a memorial ceremony coming next week in Holland to commemorate and mourn the deaths of all of the Dutch citizens who died in the airplane crash in Ukraine. And the King and Queen and former Queen of Denmark will be there, of the Netherlands will be there, and the Prime Minister and all the members of Parliament and everything in this national mourning ceremony. And they've chosen, the Dutch National Broadcasting Choir has chosen to perform a piece that I wrote the text to called Sleep. It's a great honor that they would have chosen that for such a solemn and powerful occasion.
Yeah, a very traumatic accident, but that is great. So can you tell us a little bit more about it?
Well, that piece has resonated with a lot of audiences. It's about sleep, but sleep can always poetically be interchanged with death as sort of symbolic of death. And so the poem has had resonance with people who want to go to sleep at night, and they play it, the choral piece. The music is written by Eric Whitaker, my good friend, composer Eric Whitaker. They play the piece before they go to bed, but it also resonates with people who have suffered a loss. They've lost a pet or a parent, someone close to them. I've heard from people that they've played the recording for those in hospice who are dying. It's had quite a meaning for a lot of people.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, besides teaching, I mean, what really drove you to want to be teaching here at Washburn?
Well, Washburn has a good reputation. I like the fact that it is a teaching university rather than predominantly a research university like some of the bigger ones. And I'm really here to teach. Teaching is my profession, not writing books. I'd much rather write the poetry and lyrics and things like that. But I'm given the freedom to teach in these interesting, unique ways and resonate with students in a cool way. And I like that freedom here. I like the camaraderie and the familial atmosphere of Washburn, both among the students, between the students and the faculty, and between members of the faculty. I love my colleagues in the history department and in other departments too. It's kind of precious to me, and I appreciate it.
Well, thank you so much for joining us.
It's my pleasure.
We are really glad to have you, and thanks for dressing up and showing us a little bit about your class. That's really interesting, so thank you.
Thanks a lot.
All right, coming up, we'll give you the latest news in Hollywood right after this.
Don't let me throw it down. Don't let me throw it down. Get down. Don't let me throw it down. Don't let me throw it down. Get down.
Wake the sun, tell him that I've begun to dream of things to come, and tell the trees not to look for me. I'm going to find some peace of mind. Wake the sun, wake the sun, wake the sun, wake the sun.
Boys will be boys.
Well, she was drunk.
Well, he was drunk.
She was asking for it. He warned her.
Not my problem.
Why doesn't she just leave? But he's such a nice guy.
He said he was sorry.
We don't talk about that. It's just the way people are.
We're never going to fix it.
No more excuses.
No more silence.
No more violence.
It's time to end domestic violence and sexual assault once and for all.
Welcome back to KSWU News. This week in Hollywood, Robert Downey Jr.'s wife, Susan, gave birth to a baby girl. This is the couple's second child together. They have a 2-year-old son. Downey also has a 21-year-old son from a previous marriage. Also giving birth is Kelly Rowland. The singer and former Destiny's Child member welcomed a baby boy. Titan Jewel Witherspoon is healthy and happy. This is her first child with husband Tim Witherspoon. Actress Amanda Bynes says she's been diagnosed with bipolar disorder and is on medication. She revealed the news through a string of tweets. She has seen a psychologist and a psychiatrist weekly. Bynes was released from involuntary emergency psychiatric hold and is under her mother's care by court order until 2015. Beyoncé is planning to release some new music. The famous singer is supposed to release the Beyoncé Platinum Edition box set November 24th. It's expected to include Beyoncé's original self-titled album, which was released last December, along with a DVD of 17 music videos. The set is also expected to include a second CD with 2 new songs and 4 unreleased remixes with other artists like Kanye West and Nicki Minaj. The package is also expected to contain a DVD featuring 10 live tour performances. Taylor Swift has hit a high note with her new album. 1989 is the first album this year to sell more than 1 million copies. It's the second highest seller overall behind the Frozen soundtrack, which was released in 2013. Swift's new album sold almost 1.29 million copies in a week. Eminem still holds the record for the largest sales week for an album. In 2002, The Eminem Show sold more than 1.3 million copies. Coming up, we have some of the latest news on one of the most popular dating apps. Stay tuned.
Dr. Alan Behrman, Professor of History and Dean of University Libraries. My job is to push my students, to get them to believe they can accomplish great things, and then to give them the intellectual abilities to go off and accomplish those things.
Nationally ranked Washburn University in Topeka is offering in-state tuition for Missouri students. Discover how Missouri students can save more than $13,000 a year on tuition. Just an hour from Kansas City, Washburn provides a high-quality, prestigious education for a remarkably affordable cost. You'll benefit from personal attention and outstanding academics at a price that's competitive with Missouri and Kansas public universities. Visit washburn.edu/mo to learn more.
Washburn really is what brought me to the top. The professors brought out my strongest academic side and really have a focus on teaching students how to learn. I don't think that I would be where I am today without Washburn University.
Washburn is an excellent school. It has an excellent reputation no matter where you are.
After I took the tour, I knew Washburn was everything I was looking for.
Campus life was awesome. I made so many great friends.
At Washburn, I had real professors and small classes.
I'm proud to be in Ichabod. When I came to Washburn University, I didn't know what I wanted to do, and they helped me find my passion for my career. Because of Washburn University, I've gotten excellent career opportunities. I would definitely not be the person I am today if I hadn't gone to Washburn.
Discover how Missouri students can save thousands on tuition. Nationally ranked Washburn University in Topeka is offering in-state tuition for Missouri students. Just an hour from Kansas City, Washburn provides a high-quality, prestigious education for a remarkably affordable cost. You'll benefit from personal attention and outstanding academics at a price that is competitive with Missouri and Kansas public universities. Visit washburn.edu/mo to learn more.
1, 2, 3, 4.
www.washburnreview.org.
Thanks for joining us on KSWU News. Sean Rad, founder of the dating app Tinder, has been stripped of his CEO title. This comes after a lawsuit alleging sexual harassment at Tinder. Earlier this year, Tinder's former VP of Marketing, Whitney Wolf, filed a lawsuit alleging that she was sexually harassed by co-founder Justin Mateen. However, the lawsuit was settled out of court. Rad is now president of the company and will help with the search for a new CEO. The Tinder app lets people quickly look through photographs until they find someone they would like to meet. Last month, Rad introduced Tinder Plus that allows paying customers to search for love outside their local community. Tinder is also introducing a new button that lets users return to profiles they accidentally swiped away. Rad wants to stick around to see the project through. A brand new study may shed light on why you made the decisions you did at the polls yesterday. A new study from Virginia Tech suggests people more prone to how easily grossed out they are tend to have a conservative way of thinking. Researchers looked at MRI scans of 83 volunteers who were shown a variety of images. The pictures were either pleasant, threatening, neutral, or downright disgusting. Participants made their political learnings before and after looking at the photos. The brains of conservatives reacted more strongly than liberals to the disturbing images. Researchers said a person's response to those disgusting images could predict their political leanings up to 95 to 98%.
The former Navy SEAL who has spoken out about the operation that caught Osama bin Laden is being investigated. Government officials want to know whether he broke the law by revealing secret information. Matt Bessonette is the subject of a criminal investigation and was recently questioned for 10 hours. The Pentagon and the Justice Department are looking into whether he revealed classified information to the public in his paid public appearances to talk about his book. Bassinet published his best-selling book, No Easy Day, about the Osama bin Laden raid, which was published in 2012. Bassinet's lawyer said he's not aware of any specific allegations or any sensitive information that was leaked in his speeches. No criminal charges have been filed at this time. Fall graduation is coming up for students all over the country. The question of what's next is on many of their minds. One Washburn student has been thinking about her future a lot and where it's taking her. Here's Carly Willis with more.
December graduation at Washburn is merely weeks away, and soon-to-be graduates are making plans for the next step in life. Emily Youngke is one of them, and news of her next step came just a few weeks back. Youngke will be returning to the place she says she left her heart during semester at sea study abroad voyage, Cape Town, South Africa. Youngke is a mass media major here at Washburn who chose to partake her spring semester sophomore year to travel the world on a ship with other students from across the U.S. They visited 12 countries over 106 days. Youngke said she has always wanted to travel the world and was inspired by her sister, who studied a semester in India while in college. A worship experience on Good Friday left her wanting more with South Africa.
Morning, I really grew a lot in my faith and in my personal relationship with Christ. So ever since that morning, I just really felt connected to the city, and I knew kind of right then and there that I would be going back at some point. I wasn't quite sure how or why or when that would happen, but I left part of my heart there in Cape Town, and just the way that all this has come together with this internship opportunity, it's pretty clear that this is definitely the next step that I should be taking. So I'm very excited for it.
And more she will get. Youngke was offered a 6-month internship with the Hillsong Africa Foundation as a communications intern. She will be assisting with the social media, event planning, and creating a crisis communication plan for the organization, who she says helps bring about hope by ending cycles of poverty, abuse, and violence. Everyone in her life is excited for her, but she will be missed, her internship overseer, Nicola Saunders, says.
It's going to be interesting for me to see what this really does for Emily. Like, at this point, she could decide to work there for 6 months and come home. She could work there for 6 months and then work in somewhere else in Africa, or who knows, And for me, that's what's really exciting, is just to be able to see an Ichabod with the world just totally in front of them like that is amazing.
All of the Mass Media Department and KSWU News wishes you luck, Emily. For KSWU News, this is Carly Willis.
Emily said her parents and family are a little nervous, but mostly thrilled for her next adventure. That's the news for now. Back to Fatima Obeid with the weather.
Thank you, Kara. The weather here today in Topeka, Kansas, is sunny with a high of 69 degrees. It's pretty windy out, with gusts winding from 15 to 20 miles per hour. Tonight, the temperatures will drop to low 40s, reaching a low of 41 degrees. Thursday will be another sunny day with a high near 56 degrees and a low of 33. Friday will be another windy day. Expect winds from 10 to 15 miles per hour. It will be sunny out and will get as warm as 61 degrees. Saturday will be sunny and a high near 53 degrees. However, it's going to get around 34 degrees during the evening. Sunday and Monday will be mostly sunny with a high around 60. Sunday night will drop to a low 41 degrees. Monday night will be even colder with a low around 31 degrees. And Veterans Day on Tuesday will only reach a high of 46 degrees, so get ready to bundle up as we get toward that cooler weather this November. And that's all the weather for now. Let's go to Trevin with sports.
Thank you, Fatima. The Washburn Ichabods topped Emporia State 36-10 on Saturday in the Turnpike Tussle. Washburn football forced a punt on the Hornets' first drive of the game, and the Ichabods scored their first touchdown with 10:41 to play but missed the extra point. It was the first of 4 touchdowns scored by Vershawn Moore on the day. Washburn forced another 3-and-out for the Hornets, and again, Moore scored from 14 yards out, stretching the lead to 13-0. The Ichabods scored again on a 22-yard field goal by Justin Lynn with 5:33 to play in the first half. Washburn forced another punt, and Moore returned this one 85 yards for a touchdown, and that would make the score 23-0 Ichabods going into halftime. Emporia State scored first in the second half with a field goal by Austin Morton and a touchdown that they would score to cut the Ichabods' lead to 23-10 with 16 seconds to play in the quarter. Washburn scored on its first drive of the fourth quarter when Moore scored from 11 yards out with 10:32 remaining in the game. Washburn wrapped up the scoring with a touchdown as the Ichabods finished with a 36-10 win. The Ichabods are now 3-6, and they will host Northeastern State on Saturday at 1. After ending their final road trip, the Washburn volleyball team will gear up to host their final 4 matches of the regular season. They went 3-2 in their last 5 matches and have a record of 21-5. They host Pittsburgh State on Friday and Southwest Baptist on Saturday. With a conference record of 13-5, Washburn holds 4th place in the MIAA conference, but they could end up in first at the end of the season if all of the chips fall their way. That's all the sports we have for this week. Back to Carly and Kara.
All right, thank you, Trevin. When we come back, we'll have the latest news from the box office.
Stay tuned.
On average, I spend 8 hours a week on the road. It's important to me to make the right choices when I drive. And she's the reason why I support MAD.
Please have a seat. I'll be honest. Your resume is not what I'm used to.
I know.
Okay, so what would you bring to my company?
What do you need?
I need a hard worker.
Good. I've got 2 part-time jobs and to help my parents pay the bills.
I need problem-solving skills.
I got through high school without a car, a phone, or a computer.
No college degree, though.
Not yet, but life's taught me a lot, and I'm ready for more.
Well, you're not the typical kind of candidate that I hire. But you are exactly what I'm looking for.
Your company could be missing out on the candidates it needs most. Learn how to find, cultivate, and train a great pool of untapped talent at gradsoflife.org.
Every child follows a path in life. For many, that path will lead them to a door that gives them a place to grow, to learn, to belong, a place to forge their future. Because while many doors open, these doors transform. They did for us. Support your local Boys and Girls Clubs. Great futures start here.
Come be a part of the action and show your Ichabod pride on Saturday, November 15th at 2 p.m. at Arrowhead Stadium, the home of the Kansas City Chiefs, when your Washburn Ichabods take on defending Division II national champion Northwest Missouri State in the Fall Classic. Get your tickets today by calling 785-670-BODS or go online to WUtickets.com. We can't wait to see you at Arrowhead. Go BODS!
Welcome back to KSWU News. There was a huge battle for the #1 spot in the box office this weekend. The horror film Ouija came out in first place with $10.7 million. And a close second was Nightcrawler with $10.4 million in ticket sales. Fury, the war film with Brad Pitt, came in third again with over $9 million. Opening up in theaters this weekend is Big Hero 6. The animated film follows a boy and his robot, Bimax, who team up with a group of friends to form a band of high-tech heroes. Also coming in theaters this weekend is Interstellar. Christopher Nolan directs the sci-fi film surrounding interdimensional travel based on theories of the physicist Kip Thorne. Matthew McConaughey and Anne Hathaway star in this drama action film. Scratch Christian Bale off the list of supposed actors to play Steve Jobs. Bale was rumored to be the finalist to play the Apple co-founder in the film Biography, but decided he wasn't right for the part. The film has been in the works since 2012 when Sony announced Andrew Sorkin would write a film based on Walter Isaacson's best-selling biography. Leonardo DiCaprio has also turned down the role. Filming is scheduled to begin this winter. The director for this film is Danny Boyle, who won an Oscar for Slumdog Millionaire. This month starts the start of a busy season in the box office. Coming to theaters this month is Dumb and Dumber 2, Part 1 of the Hunger Games Mockingjay, Horrible Bosses 2, and Penguins of Madagascar. In December, Exodus, Gods and Kings, The Hobbit, and The Third Night at the Museum, The Interview, Annie, and many more are here to be just in time for Christmas. That's the news for the box office this week. When we come back, we will meet with a man who has written the news for his community for many years. Right after this.
Don't let me throw it down. Don't let me throw it down. Get down. Don't let me throw it down. Don't let me throw it down. Get down.
Wake the sun, tell him that I've begun to dream of things to come, and tell the trees not to look for me. I'm going to find some peace of mind. Wake the sun, wake the sun, wake the sun, wake the sun.
Boys will be boys.
Well, she was drunk.
Well, he was drunk.
She was asking for it. He warned her.
Not my problem.
Why doesn't she just leave? But he's such a nice guy.
He said he was sorry.
We don't talk about that. It's just the way people are.
We're never going to fix it.
No more excuses. No more silence.
No more violence.
It's time to end domestic violence and sexual assault once and for all.
Don't worry, the 74 people were picked before me in the NFL draft. To fight childhood obesity, United Way and the NFL are helping kids play more. To donate or volunteer, go to unitedway.org/play60.
Now I get it.
No more pencils, no more books.
No more teachers' dirty looks.
School's out for summer.
School's out forever. School's out with fever. School's out completely.
What this place needed was better graduation rates. So we worked with schools like Henry Ford High, and now they're up 18%. And it can happen in every place. To help us do more good this year, go to unitedway.org, because great things happen when we live united.
Hi, and welcome back to KSWU News. I'm Carly Willis, and I'm joined by Mass Media Adjunct Professor Tim Rincher. It's good to have you with us, Mr. Rincher.
Good to be here.
All right, so tell us a little bit about how you got into journalism and what made you decide to do what you do now.
Well, when I was in 7th grade, I won the Shawnee County Spelling Bee, and I learned that there was a job at the Capital Journal for an errand boy, copy boy type of thing. So what happened was I applied for that when I was a sophomore, and I was really taken by how exciting a world the journalism world is. As a journalist, you're looking at everything that's either interesting or important in life. And so I ended up going to college, getting a journalism degree. At this point, I've been at the Topeka Capital Journal 34 years, including the last 28 as a reporter.
Okay, wonderful. And in those 34 years, what was the most exciting story that you can recall reporting?
I've covered a lot of exciting stories. Some of the best are the presidential visits. We've had Bill Clinton here. We've had George Bush here. You've got all these famous media people here. You know, it just seems like everything's a little bit ramped up at that point.
Fair enough. Now, sometimes stories that journalists cover tend to get a little bit dangerous. Have you ever felt scared or nervous in your job?
I went to one story I can recall where there was a chase, and it was at the end of the chase that they brought out the guy that they'd captured, and another guy went up and punched him, and just all hell broke loose. Somebody pulled some capstun pepper spray. My photographer ended up getting it in the eyes. Oh, no. 2 cops ended up getting it in the eyes. It was a real melee.
Yeah, sounds like it. So what does a typical day at the Capital Journal look like for you?
Well, I currently cover city council and county commission, so a lot of days I'll be going to city and county meetings. I'll sit down at the start of the day and have discussions with my editor about what we're going to cover. And then on Tuesday nights, I always cover city council. Sometimes I'll cover different beats, though. It's not all government. I still handle cops from time to time.
So what are your favorites of everything that you report?
One of the things that I really like, it used to be the exciting stories, you know, running out to a shooting or a car wreck or a fire or something. But my favorite are the stories where I feel like I'm really able to make the world a better place. When for example, I tell people about something that their government's doing that maybe they don't necessarily like, or we've had situations where a family would have a fire and they'd lose everything, and I'd say, could I speak to you? And they'd say, like, give me one reason I should talk to you. I'm like, because I can tell the public that your kids need clothes and they're probably going to donate. Yeah. So I think that's one thing that really is nice about being a journalist. You write something, people do donate.
Yes. So if you're just now joining us on KSWU News, I'm here with Adjunct Professor for the Mass Media Department, Tim Rincher. Now, on the other side of your job, when did you realize that you wanted to teach students?
I've been training, I trained people for a lot of years as a law enforcement writer whenever somebody was coming in, and I enjoyed the idea of, you know, trying to get it right, trying to have a list down so that somebody who's starting knows exactly what they need to be doing. And it was told to me, it was like, you'd make a good college professor. And I thought, you know, I'll try that. And I went and got myself a master's degree. And then for a few years, even after I finished the master's, I didn't actually get into teaching because the face of journalism was changing somewhat. It wasn't so simple as just you write something that goes in the next day's paper. A lot of web, internet type of stuff was happening. There were questions about the history of print journalism. I think print journalism is kind of leveled out. I think it'll be good. More and more we're being asked. I've done a lot of radio stuff and some TV. So as I got more and more familiar with that, I got more comfortable that, yes, I can tell a 21-year-old college student there is a lot of future in telling the news. People might lose their taste for certain types of coverage, but they're always going to be wanting to learn how to tell the news.
Yes. So how did your first semester go of teaching your Murder, Mayhem, and Media class?
Yeah, the course is called Murder, Mayhem, and Media, Telling Crime Stories. And the focus is essentially on on police reporting, what questions they ask, what information they gather, police PR, what those people do, what cops do for a living, and what how the criminal justice system works, essentially. And I loved it. You know, I had a class of 22 students that seemed to be pretty much interested in everything. I enjoyed it. A big part of it, I had a guest speaker every week, so I didn't have to do everything. but the class seemed really interested in the topic area.
So on that note, what do you look forward to about teaching every week?
One of the things that I look forward to is finding out what it is that really get my class members stoked. I had a paper during this last semester, and I noticed everybody on this program, you know, I could tell you what your paper, you were in the class, was on BTK.
Yes.
You talked to a reporter who actually had been in communication with BTK when he was a murderer of 10 people on the lam. Trevin, you know, wrote about the coverage of the murder of his neighbor, Patricia Kimmey. Fatima wrote about the Trayvon Martin case. Kira wrote about Bonnie and Clyde. And I mean, reading these papers, usually you think, oh, term papers, this is going to be boring. And I loved the way that class members got so stoked about the topic area.
Now, do I recall from your intro to the class, didn't you kind of have an exciting start to the whole idea of crime and the reporting thereof?
That was my first sentence of the class. Lamar Tibbs was
right.
Lamar Tibbs had decided to kill his brother. And it was all about that story that I told you a few minutes ago, where Lamar was being he did a drive-by at his brother's house, and he was being taken out of the house where he was captured, and the brother punched him, and just everything went crazy.
Yep.
So I thought that was important to let people know at the very start, this is not your typical college class.
Not at all, but it has been my favorite, actually. And so how has teaching made you a different person?
I think to a big point, it's a different, you look at things a little bit of a different way. In the past, when I was getting ready to approach a task, I would just say, how do I do this? And now while I'm going through it, I'm like, okay, say I'm helping somebody, how would I teach this?
Right. Well, thank you very much for joining us, Tim, and we will be back after this.
I'm Dr. Alan Behrman, Professor of History and Dean of University Libraries. My job is to push my students, to get them to believe they can accomplish great things, and then to give them the intellectual abilities to go off and accomplish those things.
Nationally ranked Washburn University in Topeka is offering in-state tuition for Missouri students. Discover how Missouri students can save more than $13,000 a year on tuition. Just an hour from Kansas City, Washburn provides a high-quality, prestigious education for a remarkably affordable cost. You'll benefit from personal attention and outstanding academics at a price that's competitive with Missouri and Kansas public universities. Visit washburn.edu/mo to learn more.
Washburn really is what brought me to the top. The professors brought out my strongest academic side and really have a focus on teaching students how to learn. I don't think that I would be where I am today without Washburn University.
Washburn is an excellent school. It has an excellent reputation no matter where you are.
After I took the tour, I knew Washburn was everything I was looking for.
Campus life was awesome. I made so many great friends.
At Washburn, I had real professors and small classes.
I'm proud to be an Ichabod. When I came to Washburn University, I didn't know what I wanted to do, and they helped me find my passion for my career. Because of Washburn University, I've gotten excellent career opportunities. I would definitely not be the person I am today if I hadn't gone to Washburn.
Discover how Missouri students can save thousands on tuition. Nationally ranked Washburn University in Topeka is offering in-state tuition for Missouri students. Just an hour from Kansas City, Washburn provides a high-quality, prestigious education for a remarkably affordable cost. You'll benefit from personal attention and outstanding academics at a price that is competitive with Missouri and Kansas public universities. Visit washburn.edu/mo to learn more.
1, 2, 3, 4.
www.washburnreview.org.
Come be a part of the action and show your Ichabod pride on Saturday, November 15th at 2 p.m. at Arrowhead Stadium, the home of the Kansas City Chiefs, when your Washburn Ichabods take on defending Division II national champion Northwest Missouri State in the Fall Classic. Get your tickets today by calling 785-670-BODS or go online to WUtickets.com. We can't wait to see you at Arrowhead. Go BODS!
Bods at Arrowhead. Hey, we're back. Welcome back to KSWU News. I'm Carly Willis.
And I'm Kara Potasio. A lot of exciting things we've talked about on the show today. And we've had a lot of interesting guests as well.
Yes.
With Tony Silvestri dressing up in medieval times. It was really cool. His tie was made out of leather, and I mean, that seems like an interesting class, and if I wasn't graduating already, I'd probably take it.
Yes, and also an interesting class is Tim Rincher's Murder, Mayhem, and Media class. You don't have to be a mass media student to take it, but I would strongly recommend it.
Yeah, both Carly and I took it last spring, and I would say it was one of my favorite electives ever, so it was great. And I think I've learned a lot, especially when it comes to writing real stuff about crimes, so it was great.
Yes, indeed. So are you going to go to the Bods at Arrowhead game?
I am trying to earn tickets to that. That contest is almost over, correct?
Correct.
So,
however, this whole week you can stop by the Student Activities and Greek Life office in the bottom level of Memorial Union with $10 in your student ID, and it will get you a ticket to the game, a meal, your parking obviously, and a ride home from the game. So $10 in your student ID gets you all that to watch the Ichabods at Arrowhead.
Yeah, take on those Bearcats.
#1 team in the country still?
I don't think so anymore, but great win last weekend against Emporia really surprised me.
Yes.
I'm glad that we were able to win, but Can Emporia was not in our favor.
For the several years in a row it's been, but yeah, that's all right. We'll get them next year.
Yeah, so Carly, what are you making for dinner tonight?
I have a new recipe called crock-pot lasagna soup, and it's been in my crock-pot since 10 a.m. So I'm hungry and looking forward to that when I get home.
Oh, I know where I'm going after this.
All are welcome.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Tune in next week. As always, you can like our Facebook page, KSWU News, and we also have a Twitter, so now you can follow us on Twitter. It's also KSWU News as well. So thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week.